Somebody left a comment on a older backhoe video with a question. They're having some trouble with it, so I think it's a pretty similar machine to mine. I left them a comment. I replied to the comment, but it's easier if we're just looking at the tractor together. So let me kind of show you just my thoughts based on your comment. What I think the issue is. So a clutch pedal on these, if it is a shuttle shift, right? So you have your forward and reverse up here. It's all controlled hydraulically. The clutches are, it has clutches, but they're wet clutches and they're hydraulically actuated, not mechanically actuated, like a normal clutch. So this clutch here, it's actually just running a little shuttle valve right there on this block. And in this block right here, behind where my finger is, there's a relief valve in there. So the guy in the comments, he said that he changed the fluid on his and it had a ton of water in it. So the fluid on this part, the front part of the transmission here, that's just like universal tractor fluid. It's hydraulic fluid, which will mix with a lot of water. He said though that a few cups of water came out of the transmission whenever he drained it. So if there was that much water in the system, what can happen is, even though it's all full of oil, there's so much free water in the system that it can start to rust and corrode things inside of there, which means that the spring back here behind this that opens and closes that relief valve, or rather closes it and sets the pressure at which it closes, can get rusted and break and fall apart. So the first place I would look on that, just based on the comment, is this block right here. Now, because of some of these lines, it's kind of difficult to get to, and on mine it has to come out that way, which means that there's another hydraulic block right on this backside here that you'll also have to take off. But I would take that apart first. It's just these two lines, and there's a pressure line on the backside. He says he's not seeing any pressure, but the way that clutch works is it's like a hydraulic dump valve. It just dumps the hydraulic fluid back to the reservoir that is the transmission itself. And the hydraulic pump for this is all internal inside of the transmission. So if it's actually the pump that's messed up on your transmission, you're going to have to split the tractor, get the transmission out of it, rebuild or replace that pump inside of there. And while you're at it, you might as well replace all the clutch plates and whatnot. But the first place, the easiest place to look is right here. So I had this one apart at some point a few years ago to reseal it, because these valves over here were leaking real bad. You have one that's your forward and reverse, and one that's the hydraulic dump valve, right, which is the clutch pedal here. So mine was just pouring oil out of there, so I had to reseal it. So I got that block off of there, and I ordered my seals from Oklahoma Case Tractors. They do ship parts, so you can call them. Just ask for a parts desk. I haven't called them in a while, but it used to be a real nice lady named Jackie works there. Real helpful. She'll be able to find those seals for you. You might as well replace them if you have to get in there. And probably going to need a new spring and check fall. And seems like there's another spring check in there as well, if I remember correctly. And then this is a vent up here on top. You might look at cleaning it or replacing it while you're there. And then the gasket for this, now I did not get that from OCT. I actually made that one myself. So a trick for making gaskets is, once you get this block off of here, flip it upside down, and you could probably do it with printer paper or something, but I prefer like a engineering vellum, a drafting vellum, something like that. It just seems to work better. Make sure your hands are a little bit dirty though. You stick that vellum on the flat side of this block, upside down, and then just rub your fingers all over it. And it's kind of like if you did it when you were a kid, where you make like an impression of something with a crayon, that you take the paper off and rub it sideways. Dirty fingers will leave an impression of all the galleries and holes and stuff in there. And then kind of look at this block versus the actual transmission and figure out where the gasket needs to be cut out to where galleries are supposed to be open, are supposed to have holes for oil passage and whatnot. And just make sure you capture all those features, and you can kind of draw on that with a pencil, mark that out. cut out that vellum. That'll give you a template, and then you can just get a sheet of whatever your favorite gasket material is. This is it's a Teflon material that I used in here, but I don't know that it matters a whole lot. And then you can cut out your gasket with the X-Acto knife or whatever. Or if you talk to your local case dealership or OCT, they could probably get you one. I didn't think to order that when I did this job. So anyway, that's the first place I would look. And if that's not your problem, if that's not why you're not getting oil pressure, that is, then it's probably the pump, and that's bad news because it's way deeper inside there and you're doing a full transmission rebuild, which this one's going to have to get someday. It's got some issues, but working for now. So if I ever do that job, I'll make a video about it and show you guys, and it'll be out there. But yeah, until then, that's the best advice I have for you, is looking at that valve block. It's fairly easy to get to, pretty straightforward. So anyway, yeah, anyway, hope that helps. So this whole 580B, mine is labeled B. It sounds like yours is maybe a few years older than mine, so I'm not sure if it's set up quite the same way as this. But on mine, if I was having that problem, that's probably the first place I would look. So anyway, like I said, hope it helps. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.